Hey guys, I wanted to go ahead and share my next bump date video. This will be the third bump date video and I will try and cover as many weeks as I possibly can. So currently I am 21 weeks pregnant still. I am filming this the same week as my last bump date video. I am going to be starting with week 12 in this video and try and cover as many weeks as I can before I feel like I've talked to you guys a little bit too much. So let's go ahead and jump into this bump date. So starting with week 12, I feel amazing. I had my appointment and it was amazing. I was told I'm super healthy, everything looks great, baby looks great. They covered their face the entire time, which took after me. I had a wonderful appointment, feeling like $1,000,000. So to kind of go over that, if you guys did not see my last bump date video or you haven't seen my pregnancy vlogs, I had a very overwhelming first appointment. My 8-week appointment just was very overwhelming and I didn't do very well at it. I just felt overwhelmed when I got home. And when it came to the 12-week appointment, the midwife who I saw was amazing. Like, she eased all of my fears. She made me feel healthy. She told me I was healthy. All my blood work came back perfect, and that was such a relief to hear. So during week 10, which I'm not sure why I didn't talk about it, but during week 10 is when I took my blood work for finding out the gender of the baby, and it also was like the chromosome test. Let me call it for what it is. It's a chromosome test to test the chromosomes to see if they are at risk for any chromosome defect or anything like that. I did take that test during week 10. So I had a ton of nerves when it came to week 10 through week 12. Just a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear that, you know, my testing for myself would come back bad or the testing for, you know, my baby would come back messed up. To find out that I was healthy and everything in my blood work came back perfect made me feel so good during week 12. I also did get to have an ultrasound during week 12 just to hear the baby's heartbeat mainly, because she quickly checked for the heartbeat on the Doppler and she couldn't find it, and she kind of quickly did it. I think she knew I wanted an ultrasound, so she did end up doing an ultrasound and we heard the heartbeat. So that appointment is what changed the game for me. It made everything so much better. I was able to actually breathe like a sigh of relief, and that's when I would say I actually started to really enjoy my pregnancy, because a lot of the anxiety was like lifted and I just felt really good. Let me mention this here. Your second trimester does not start at week 12. That is where a lot of women get things wrong. They think that your second trimester starts week 12 when in fact it does not. It starts week 14. So during week 12 I was like, maybe I'm in my second trimester, and then I quickly learned no. But moving on, I said the fatigue was so much better. It was barely there, and I had fatigue obviously the whole pregnancy. I had a much bigger appetite past few days. I think that's mainly because anxiety was lifted. I wasn't so scared all the time. I put 12 week one day. I felt great. I had very mild nausea. When we hear the baby's heartbeat, we can also hear them move. So wow, already starting at week 12. I thought it was much later, but I guess starting at week 12, I could actually hear them moving on the Doppler as well, which is pretty exciting. It's a really fun and exciting sound to hear. Not just hearing the heartbeat, which is amazing, but also hearing like whoosh, whoosh sounds is like super duper cool. Come that Friday, I took the test. I took the chromosome test on a Thursday during week 10. Come the 2 weeks, so it took 2 weeks, come that Friday, I ended up calling the office and was begging for results, because I should have already had results, honestly. I think they were in, they just never filed them away quick enough, but I called them begging for results, and they had results on the baby, and they said that the baby was healthy. Everything came back completely normal in the chromosome test, and that, you just have no idea like how good that felt. I did a chromosome test, but I also did a carrier screening test as well, both of which was covered by my insurance. Is the only reason why we did do both of those tests. So if not, if it's not something that you need to do, it's not that I don't recommend it, it's just, it's not a test that everyone needs to do. So yeah, I did find out that the baby was healthy, and on that Friday, my sister-in-law actually went to the doctor's office and picked up the results for gender so that we could have a gender reveal that Sunday. So we had to wait from Friday until Sunday to find out the gender of our baby. So come Sunday, we found out that my baby is a boy. We are expecting a baby boy. We had our gender reveal. It didn't go as planned, but life is life. Can't wait to meet our boy. So if you guys have not watched my vlogs, which I highly recommend that you do, go back and watch my pregnancy vlogs. We had a gender reveal, and the poppers, which popped confetti, actually had a defect in it. So it did not go quite as planned, but you know what? We found out we were having a baby boy, and that is all that matters, and we were so so excited. So I put still getting some nausea here and there, which I was. During week 12 was the first week that I actually was able to drink coffee and it not make me feel sick. I actually craved it and I was able to drink it with no problem. It didn't affect me, it didn't affect baby. I made sure I stayed well below, and even now I make sure I stay like well below the recommended dosage. I had my first Starbucks in 3 months, which was pretty exciting. I was really excited for that. A little more lightheadedness. So yeah, lightheadedness I guess did start week 12. Whenever having a full bladder, emptying it, there are slight pains. I think maybe round ligaments. I, after would go to the bathroom, like I don't know, like as I'm going, there would be pressure, not like a UTI or any kind of infection, but there would be like pressure. And I think it was basically the bladder. As it was going down, it would make the uterus contract, or sometimes it'll cause round ligament pains when you go to the bathroom. Very TMI, but yeah, when I would go pee, it only did it like maybe once or twice. I would get like a quick sharp pain, like, and it was definitely round ligament. So next is week 13. I put on cloud 9 that it's a boy. We both wanted a boy first, and we both are just so excited for our little man. I put extreme fatigue day 1, but didn't get much sleep. I didn't get any sleep the night before. Insomnia hit the last 4 or 5 nights of week 12 and continued to this week. I wake up in the middle of the night having trouble going back to sleep. I was exhausted. I put nausea is still here. Way more exhaustion this week, still some nausea. So now that brings us to week 14, which does start the second trimester. Between week 13 and 14, it is like night and day. So I put feeling really good, rarely getting nausea, and if I do, it's for a very short while. I was sleeping a lot better. The dreams felt very real. I would dream things and then believe that they were real, and I would go to talk to someone about it and like be like, oh yeah, like remember what happened the other day, and they'd be like, what are you talking about? So the dreams were so real, I would try and talk to people about them and they thought I was crazy. I remember telling my parents a story about my husband and I buying a house, and like we were looking at this lot and it ended up being sold out or taken already, and I'm telling my parents this happened and they're looking at me like, what is this girl talking about? And so they just went along with it. And so I told my husband, I'm like, yeah, well, you told me that the lot that you really wanted was already sold. And he's like, what are you talking about, woman? Seriously, that's how real dreams are. Loads of excitement now that everyone knows. So during week 14 is actually when we announced to everyone that we were pregnant. We posted it on Christmas Eve. Still no real appetite. Someone gave me great advice. I'm the mom. I know what's best for myself and for my child. No other human in the world knows better than I at this moment. So please keep any negativity to yourself. 100%. I am eating and drinking and exercising and doing what I believe is right for myself and my child. Being on social media, people have been wonderful. There really hasn't been anyone who has anything negative to say. Sometimes I think maybe in the future people will watch these videos and have something negative to say about what I'm doing, how I'm providing for my child or something. There's always people who have something negative to say, and so if that were to happen, just know that I've got this under control. I am in control of this, and I'm doing the very best that I can for my son and I. Minor round ligament pains. My uterus is moving up, so feeling a few twinges here and there, and I felt really great. So yes, I could tell that my uterus was moving up during that week. It's much higher. In fact, it's even higher than I think I'm considering it to be even right now. So now we are on to week 15. So for week 15, I put round ligament pains, not that bad. Whenever I sneeze or cough or get up too soon, I feel them. They're really not that bad. When you hear pregnant women say pain, it really just kind of means discomfort or a feeling, honestly. It's not pain. Like when I think of pain, I think of like a broken leg or like you just stepped on a Lego. It's not like that type of pain. It is just something that you quickly feel. It's a discomfort. It is a feeling. It does not mean pain, agonizing pain, you're like rolling over wanting to die type of pain. I put been sick all week, so took it pretty easy. I ended up catching a cold this week and I felt like garbage. I was so sick. I felt terrible, but I got a lot of recommendations from you guys on what to take when you're pregnant. I didn't take any medication whatsoever. I had a lot of smoothies, and I also had saline spray, which helped a ton. I put hearing baby boy really loud on the Doppler. He's moving up a storm. He was moving a lot on the Doppler. It would just make me laugh every time I heard it. I put morning sickness came back midweek. Not sure if it's just from the cold or what. Comes around 8 p.m. and ginger ale and a snack usually fixes it. I had a lot of nausea when I was sick that week. I remember every single night feeling like death. I was getting a lot of headaches, again, I think mainly because of the cold I got. Pain in center of chest to back went away after maybe an hour. That was caused after I blew my nose. I had a really bad pain in my chest. I pulled a muscle literally blowing my nose. Stabbing pain in center lower abdomen lasted about 20 minutes. When I was taking a shower one day, I had like a stabbing pain. It was literally the same pain I had in my chest, but in my abdomen. So again, I pulled a muscle blowing my nose, except for this time it was lowered down. I put headaches are getting worse in the evening and causing some nausea. Exhausted by 7:30 or 8 p.m. Yes. Feeling different feelings that feel like it could be baby moving. Yes. Come week 15, there was a lot of just weird feelings down in the pelvic area. It was like a little bit of stretching, but at the same time there was just, I don't know, there was something, pressure, something was different down there, and I can't really even put my finger on it even to this day. I'm assuming it was the baby moving and maybe starting to expand my uterus a little bit. It didn't hurt, it just was like, once again, just like a feeling. Lots of round ligament pains and stretching. I did have a lot around my like pelvic area, my like hip bones, I guess I should say. My like pelvic bones, I need to be saying. I can tell uterus is moving much more north, so again, I was expanding. I could feel stretching going on a little bit more. Feeling back to being pregnant this week. The past few weeks I've been telling people I didn't even feel pregnant. Well, it's back. Week 15, because of the sickness and everything, I definitely was starting to feel a little gross. The week 14 and even some of 13, I remember feeling pretty good, so that's kind of why I put it that way. But now we are going to move into week 16. Week 16, there was much more dizziness and lightheadedness. It came mainly in the morning. Before I would eat, if I got up too quickly, I would get a little bit of lightheadedness. I had my 16-week appointment and got the flu shot. Cold is starting to go away, but after the shot, I felt sore all over. I felt good all week, just random round ligament pains. So during my 16-week appointment, I did end up getting the flu shot. I never ended up catching the flu. So now we are into week 17. Week 17, I put dizziness frequently in the morning, lots of stretching and belly. I was starting to show a little bit. I see my belly now and I'm like, just a little bit, girl. Round ligament pains when moving weird ways. I can't bend over like I used to. I had a harder tummy during that time. Strong pulling, cramp, pain feeling from inside right behind belly button. Yeah, it was weird, but there was like a pulling. It felt like something was like pulling at my belly button. So ligament pains whenever getting up, pains in pelvic area, pains are like popping and stretching, lots of acid reflux, exhaustion lasts all day. So yeah, as you guys can see, like the symptoms kind of run about the same every week, but the severity of them are what kind of decides why I make a note of them or not. Okay, so now we are already into week 18. So week 18, I had a lot of exhaustion. First day had nausea and stomach pains after dinner. Ginger ale made them go away. Second day had headaches and exhaustion all day, somewhat upset stomach. Felt great the rest of the week. Random short spells of lightheadedness, nothing serious. Exhaustion at night, which was usual. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, so I felt his kicks for the very first time on like a Friday. The way I was sitting at my desk, I think kind of made it to where it was easy to feel it. I was kind of having bad posture and leaning forward, and I was able to feel his kicks for the first time. And what they felt like was, think of like when you're underwater and you blow like little bubbles up to the surface. Once it hits the surface, that's what the kicks felt like. And I felt them, I felt like maybe 3 kicks here and there, and then after that, I didn't feel it again. But I believe the following day I did. Belly is noticeably harder and has taken a different shape. Crazy exhaustion on day 6. So yeah, that was an exciting week. All right, we are already into week 19. I put slight cramping after emptying bladder, maybe ligament pains, happened earlier in pregnancy too, which we just covered. So yeah, I guess that came back. Ridiculous dreams. Oh my gosh, you guys are going to lose it when you guys hear this dream. A dinosaur would yearly come and destroy your home, and you'd have to escape from it in order to survive. I don't know if that was like a purge that would go on, but you had to escape the dinosaur in order to survive. So yeah, that's the type of dreams I was having, so you're welcome. Several kicks a day, feels like baby is moving, not sure if it's ever felt like flutters. So you're always told that your first kicks feel like flutters. They never did. They always felt like first bubbles, but then immediately like what I was feeling that one week, like I think it was week 15, I just was telling you guys, it's always just felt like movement. I've always been able to actually picture the baby moving with any feeling that I've had. So I can't say it felt like flutters, That's not exactly how I would describe it. I just describe it as a baby moving in your belly. Had an anatomy scan, was a little frustrated I couldn't see the screen, but was still such a fun experience. At the same time, nerve-wracking. I just want my baby to be okay. I'm like whizzing through this. I forget like how important these weeks are. So week 19 was the anatomy scan, and I was so nervous for the scan. We did invite family to it, and I don't have any reason to tell you guys not to. We invited family. They got to see the second half of the scan, and it was amazing sharing that moment with them. So we're really close with our family. That's why we made sure that they got to experience this with us, and it was a wonderful experience. But I was nervous the whole time. I didn't know if what we were looking at was okay. It was almost hard to celebrate because I didn't know if what we were seeing was okay. And also, I couldn't really see the screen, which I felt was a little bit crazy that the mother wasn't able to really see a screen. It was like barely showing to me, and it wasn't the tech's fault or anything. I felt it was more important that they were looking at the screen than me, so I didn't say anything, but I was a little frustrated by that, I'm not gonna lie. But yes, I was so nervous for that anatomy scan. So the baby measured 19 weeks and 5 days, which I was actually 19 weeks and 3 days during that day, so I was measuring 2 days ahead. The baby was already 10 ounces and 163 heart rate. He's stayed in the 160s. I think 1 week the doctor said 150s, but there's no way. He's pretty much always been in the 160s. After that appointment, I had a massive migraine and I had to go to bed early. I did not feel good after that appointment. I don't know why. I ended up having a transvaginal scan as well so that they could check out the cervix, and I guess it's a better way to check it. So I did have a scan done, an ultrasound done transvaginally too, just to check the cervix. So I don't know if that's why I was sore. I just did not feel good the next day. I put following day was exhausted all day long. Yeah, the day of the scan and the day after, I did not feel good. More around ligament pains, some stomach pains overnight during sleep. I remember that. I think it was gas again or acid. Minor nausea is coming back when I don't eat soon enough. Very, very light. I don't even know why I noted that because that was only a few weeks ago, and honestly, the nausea hasn't really been there that bad. Fatigue and lightheadedness, that definitely has been here though. If I don't eat when I wake up, I've started getting lightheadedness. So again, this isn't a daily thing either. It's not like every day I'm lightheaded, it's just certain days. There's sometimes random pains in my stomach when pressing down. We were told the baby's head was in a certain area during our anatomy scan, and now that's all I think about is the baby's head there. And I hate pressing in that area, although I know he's constantly moving and not still in that position. So yeah, like now I don't have it, but there's some days where I have a lot of tender feelings in my belly. Like pressing today, there's nothing, but even yesterday I had some tender feelings. So I don't know if the baby gets into a position that makes you sore or not, but when she was doing the ultrasound, there was a spot she kept pressing that just felt super sore. So the next week is week 20, which actually will catch us completely up. I'm in week 21, but I will save week 21 for my next video because we're not done with week 21. So we're gonna go ahead and end this video with week 20. Found out that the baby was healthy. I called and called and called and called until I talked to someone to let me know that the baby was healthy. This was the day before my birthday. I called, found that out, and cried my eyes out. I cried so hard. This was like the news I had been waiting for my entire pregnancy, to know that the baby was healthy, that the scan would come back great, and I just bawled my eyes out. I woke up from acid reflux. I was waking up a lot in the middle of the night. I put belly is getting harder and harder, exhaustion by end of week, and more tender abdomen. Week 20 was the very first time I felt him kick from the outside, which is so exciting. We felt him kick for the first time on, I believe it was Saturday this past weekend, and I just happened to have my hand on my belly and he kicked it, and that was such a crazy feeling. Like feeling it from the outside is probably even more exciting than feeling it from the inside. And so yeah, that's the first time we felt it. My husband did feel it after, but I flinched, and so he's like, I don't know if I felt the baby or felt you flinch. And I'm like, no babe, you felt the baby, because he looked at me when he felt the baby and then I flinched. So I was like, no, you felt the baby. So we're still waiting for him to be able to feel the baby from the outside and me not flinch, and then he'll know for sure it was 100% the baby. But yeah, we felt him for the first time during week 20 from the outside, which was so cool. So that was pretty much everything that I experienced last week. I didn't have a lot of crazy symptoms, I would say. I just had a lot of happiness because it was my birthday, number one, and just lots of happiness hearing that my baby was okay. It's been pretty awesome. So that is all I have experienced this pregnancy. We are officially caught up. My hope for this pregnancy is to actually update you guys every 2 weeks. I feel like if I were to do every single week, the video would be extremely sparse, mainly because my symptoms pretty much have stayed pretty steady. I will do weekly once they change up a little bit, but until then, I just don't necessarily feel the reason to do it every single week. So yeah, that is it, you guys. I will go ahead and show you guys the very first bump. This is the first time I'm going to show you guys the bump. Number one, because I have a bump, so there's something to actually show you guys. And number two, because now we're officially caught up. So it makes sense for me to finally show you guys the bump. So let's go ahead and get into the bump shot. So that is it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys are excited to be caught up and to follow along the rest of my pregnancy with me. I am so excited. Make sure you're following my Instagram account because I am constantly updating you guys over there. That's probably the #1 spot I'm updating you guys on my pregnancy and what I'm going through. So definitely make sure you guys head on over there and give me a follow. Subscribe to my channel if you are not already. I would love to have you as a subscriber, and I will see you guys in my next video. Take care, everyone.